Hey friends, good morning. This is Abhishek from TechVirus, and in this video I'll be doing the comparison between MacBook Pro and MacBook Air. So this is basically high level comparison. I will not be comparing it in detail, but I'll just tell you the basic difference between MacBook Air and MacBook Pro. First of all, let me open the lid and show you how does MacBook Pro and MacBook Air looks. So these two laptops are basically from 2014 edition. We have more newer models in the market as of now, like we have 2015 edition as well. In the newer model, they have improved on processor, RAM, SSDs and other hardware stuff. So in this video, basically what I'll do, I'll show you the comparison, like which laptop is good for your use, as we sometimes get confused like which laptop should I go with, like MacBook Pro or MacBook Air. So I'll tell you basic difference between these two laptops. So to start with the MacBook Pro, we have 15-inch Retina display and the model is mid 2014 and it has i7 2.5 GHz processor, 16 GB of RAM. Graphics is from Intel. It's Intel Iris Pro, 1 GB of graphics memory. And to let you know, the hard drive is 250 GB SSD. Okay, now let's go to MacBook Air. Here we have this configuration. Let me zoom the video and show you the configuration for MacBook Air. Okay, so this is early 2014 and the processor is Intel Core i5, 1.4 GHz, memory is 4 GB and the graphics is Intel HD Graphics 5000. Also we have 120 GB SSD. Okay, in this segment I'll be doing the physical comparison between MacBook Pro and MacBook Air. To start with MacBook Pro, on the left hand side we have these ports. On the extreme left we have charging port, then we have two Thunderbolt ports and it can be used as a display port. Then we have USB 3.0 and audio jack. So you can see we have very nice finish from front as well, and it's completely aluminum. On the right side we have these three ports. To start with the extreme right, we have USB 3.0, then we have HDMI, and then we have port for card reader, and these are the small vents for the air intake. Okay, so that's all for MacBook Pro. Now for MacBook Air, on the left hand side we have the charging port, then we have USB 3.0, audio jack, and we have these two mic input. You can see this is really thin and the body is of the same material, that's aluminum. On the right hand side we have these two ports, one USB 3.0 and display port. Okay, now you can see the width and the height comparison between MacBook Air and MacBook Pro. You can see that MacBook Pro is quite thicker than MacBook Air and it's quite heavier. MacBook Air is approximately 1 kg and MacBook Pro is approximately 2.5 kg. Alright, let me open both the laptop and I'll show you what all things are there inside, like how's the keyboard and how's the touchpad and how much space we have. Okay, so the right hand side we have MacBook Pro and the left hand side we have MacBook Air. Okay, so let me zoom MacBook Pro first. Here you can see that on both the sides we have powerful speakers and we have large touchpad and the keyboards are designed nicely. We have quite some gap on top and we have small cut in front to lift the lid. As you can see that we have lots of space to type anything here. You can rest your palm easily so it will not hurt your hand if you are typing it for a long usage. Now let's come to the MacBook Air. Here you can see that we have less space to rest your palm while typing, but the keyboards are quite good. They are not too compressed. As you can see that the top row, the function key has been compressed a bit, and this is really useful because we don't use these keys oftenly. Also, to let you know, the speakers are behind the keyboard, so you don't see any vent for the speaker. Now let's do the comparison between the display of MacBook Air and MacBook Pro. So in MacBook Air we don't have Retina display, but the display looks really good. And in MacBook Pro we have Retina display and the display is really awesome. But if you do the comparison between Retina display and MacBook Air normal display, you don't see a significant difference because in MacBook Air we have smaller display and that's why dot per inch is higher. And the viewing angle for both the laptops are really good. Also there is no complaint in the brightness. You can easily view them in sunlight. In this segment what we will do, we'll try to open two similar apps on both the laptop and we'll see how much time does it take to open on both the laptops. So let me open Photo Booth and let's see how much time does it take. So you can see on the right hand side MacBook Air comes first and then MacBook Pro, but as you can see that MacBook Pro is opening in the full screen mode with extra features and MacBook Air is just opening in the same window. So that might be the delay in MacBook Pro. Okay, now let's try some other application. Let me open Maps on both the laptop. So here we go, click it. Okay, so both opens at the same time. Alright, let me close both the application and let me try one more application. Let's say Safari. Okay, let me open this browser. I'll just click it and you can see that MacBook Pro was faster than MacBook Air. Alright, now it's time for the real test. We will be using Nova Bench application to test the speed of these laptops, and at the end we'll get the score. So let me click play and continue. Okay, so now here it will test processor, SSD, graphics card and everything on both the laptop, and it will give the final score. So let me keep this running and I'll pause this video and I'll come back once this is done. Alright, so here's the final score for MacBook Air. It's 574. The RAM is 126, CPU is 350, graphics 46, hardware is 52. Now let's see how's the score of MacBook Pro. So MacBook Pro is 1290. There's a huge difference between the score of MacBook Air and MacBook Pro. You can see that RAM is 230, CPU 807, graphics 183 and hardware test was 70. So this was benchmarking comparison between these two laptops, and what we found that MacBook Air is light and less powerful and MacBook Pro is heavy and more powerful. So basically what I'll suggest, like if your usage is light, like you are just surfing, you are checking your email, you're doing some kind of presentation, then you should always go for MacBook Air because it's really portable. It's so light that you won't feel that you are carrying anything in your bag. And if your usage is like you are doing video editing, if you are doing some heavy application usage, then you should go for MacBook Pro. But keep in mind that MacBook Pro is really heavy to carry. Alright, so this was my comparison between MacBook Pro and MacBook Air. I hope you like my video. If you like, do subscribe my channel. Have a nice day. Bye bye.